Good afternoon and good morning. Welcome to the Hype, where minds collide
and ideas amplify. Welcome to the show. On the Hype, where we usually talk about everything culture, technological, historical, and all the fun stuff that matter to Gen Z and beyond on different social media platforms.
And we want you to join the conversation, so leave us your comments. Let the conversation start on Weibo, WeChat, X, Facebook, YouTube. We're on all social medias and CGTN's official website, cgtn.com, and the official app. So let's talk together.
Yeah, thanks Nadim, and I'm Yang from CGTN's social media desk. Today is a special day. It's Lidong, that is the beginning of winter. Yes.
You can feel it raining as well today.
Yes, it is raining.
That's very, very fittingly. It's raining outside in Beijing, and we are in Jingyuan Academy. It's located in Beijing's Dongcheng district. It's in a refined cultural venue dedicated to the study and the transmission of traditional Chinese arts and literati culture. Thank you for the owner of this academy for us to be having today's show here. And Lidong, the beginning of winter, is the 19th solar term on Chinese lunar calendar, but it's not just a day from which the day gets shorter and shorter and the weather gets colder and colder, the food warmer and warmer. It's also a day of deep culture and the weight of history.
Yes.
Anyways.
The one thing that I enjoy about these solar terms, and it's something that I didn't know before coming to China and living here long enough, is that it's not just a day on the calendar, it has a lot of meaning and significance. Depending on which solar term, because it's not just a simple guide for agricultural practices, because back in the day, all the farming stuff were related to these 24 solar terms,
yes.
But it's also how habits and traditions really are shaped by these solar terms.
Exactly, because the Chinese society has been seen a long time ago. It's an agricultural society, it's an agricultural state. And all those customs, all those habits actually established and deeply, deeply embedded in relation to agriculture, culture, and it's the practice in it. So that's going to be a very important theme we're going to explore today.
Isn't it also exciting that we're celebrating the beginning of winter here in Dongcheng district? I feel like Beijing has so many different districts. If you want to talk about like the more modern, where people like to go to hang out, a younger generation, we always talk about Chaoyang district. But if you want to highlight culture, specifically celebrating something like Lidong or like the beginning of winter, Dongcheng is the perfect location. If you just look at the architecture in this room or even outside, what do we call this kind of housing right now?
Well, typically I wouldn't call it a palace, but it's a courtyard typical of the old Beijing, which is also the theme we're going to explore. Because in Beijing, the winter culture is quite different from the rest of the country, but in the meantime, it's also similar of the kind of how northern Chinese people celebrate Lidong, celebrate the beginning of winter. You can see some elements on the table. I have to say that I'm slightly hungry
after
for
looking
the
at
moment,
all this.
but I specifically told I'm not allowed to touch any of them as we go along today's show. So I will hold myself disciplined.
Just not yet. Soon though. Just leaving them, in a way like, what is this? What is that? Wait till Dean explains them in a bit.
Well, before we go on to tell you a bit more about Lidong's culture, let's need to explain why it's called Lidong. Lidong is two Chinese characters. The first one is Li and the second one is Dong. The first one means establish. And the second one, Dong, is winter. Actually, in Chinese character, in Chinese calligraphy, Dong sometimes also kind of has a close relation with another Chinese character, which is and, Zhong. That means Lidong is the beginning of the end of the year. So the entire show today, with all those delicacies on the table and something interesting in the video we're about to show you, we are going to be around this idea of how to go through the last bit of the year after you spend the first 3 seasons kind of laboring in the field, plowing the soil, and eventually in autumn get your harvest. And after all those, what would people do in Beijing in ancient times and today?
Exciting.
Well, I know. They're going to rest.
How rest? I mean, that is a big subject.
How do they rest?
Yeah, you don't just lying down in the bed.
Oh, you could.
Well, you get look at the evidence.
Saving up the energy for the coming year. I think we can also talk about something exciting, which is pickling.
Yeah.
I think lots of people in northern area of China choose to pickle things, which is very similar to the Arab world. Although we pickle all year long, but I've heard in northeast China, I think pickling starts as a way to save up for winter back in the day. Even though now vegetables are like all year long
But
provided.
still, it's like those traditions
Yeah.
that you carry on. Pickling is a very important
Do
thing.
you pickle, Dean?
Preservation.
Well, all sorts of pickles.
preservation.
I'm a big lover of pickle, actually.
You don't pickle though. You
well,
just eat pickle.
I'm furious that they don't serve any today.
Oh yeah, where's the pickles?
Well, I mean, there's something very close to pickling, which is dehydration.
Dehydration,
which is
yeah.
another
Way of storing food.
Yes, and so you know
Well,
that's the closest we can get.
Actually,
now.
if we can ask the cameraman, 我们的摄像老师可以把这个
Zoom
in，可以在这个给一个特写镜头嘛？Let's zoom in. We have a very typical Beijing or Northern China delicacy on the table, and I think that we will give our audience, give our viewers a puzzle.
Yeah.
Can you work out what is this? This
What
one.
we're pointing at.
Let's point at it. This, yes.
Yeah. What is this? And somehow, both of you have been aware of this, but somehow it has a close kinship to something else on the table.
Yeah, like a before and after shot.
Not me. I'm a different color, but this little delicacy, this little lovely stuff, it has a very close relationship
To something else.
to something else also present on the table.
So if you know what it is, well, I mean, sooner or later we will reveal what it is, but let us know your guesses down below in the comments. Let us know what you think it is, what it used to be before it became this, and we shall reveal the answer in due time, very soon.
It tastes so good though. I think we can give that to them.
Well, this is mine.
Your
Don't
favorite.
think about touching it.
Oh yeah.
We can share.
Yeah,
We
leave
can
another
share
one.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dean.
And there's not just going to be food, although that we are foodies, but we are not going to just talk
Yeah.
about the food.
No,
although
it's
that
more
is
than
a
that.
big part of the celebration of this beginning of winter, but also a whole lot of other ideas. We created two characters, we Chinese people, we created two characters just to mean the beginning of winter. And it cannot just be what you're going to put on the table or in your mouth. There's a whole litany of things, culture and the history stuff in relation to this special day.
Yeah.
So I think it's not fair just for the three of us to talk about this because we have experts, we have a bigger place where more relics and more artifacts can demonstrate the deep meaning of this day. So maybe a video can, in our place, to bring you a brief introduction to what this day is about. And we will come back after this video, so don't go away.
Hi everyone, welcome to our live stream. I'm Xinxin. Today is the traditional Chinese solar term, start of winter. I'm at the Capitol Museum in Beijing, where we'll explore how ancient Chinese people go through the cold winter. First, let's invite our guest, Zhao Weihong, a guide from the Capitol Museum.
主持人好。
Hello, everyone. So, Professor Zhao, let's take a look at the scene behind us. You can see pure white snow covering the blue bricks and gray tiles, with icicles hanging from the eaves. What kind of the scene is this designed to depict? Our folk costumes exhibition hall is arranged according to the 4 seasons of this year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Now, in this exhibition hall, we're depicting a scene of Beijing's cold winter. It is a glimpse of Beijing's hutong, a snapshot of life in the city's traditional alleyway homes. Yeah, winters in Beijing are cold. The gray bricks and tiles are covered in ice and snow, and in this bitterly cold winter, how did the people of Beijing live? First, let's take a look at what ancient Chinese people enjoy doing for fun during winter. The start of winter marks the beginning of winter, a season traditionally associated with conversation and storage. The water begins to freeze slowly, and the Chinese people have always been full of wisdom in life. So we make use of ice. Though cold, it is extremely useful to us. We all know that summers in Beijing are particularly hot. In the past, without air conditioning, people found ways to cool down in summer, so they prepared during winter as well. They collected ice from rivers. Here's an ice block lying on the ground. At first, I thought it was an ordinary tile, but no, you can see the simulated crystal clear ice cube. So what were the uses of transporting and storing ice in this way? Well, we started cleaning the riverbed from the start of winter onward, and after cleaning the riverbed, when the coldest period around the winter arrived, we began cutting ice blocks about 1.5 feet thick. And these ice blocks were stored in various ice cellars, which were divided into official cellars and private cellars used by ordinary people. During the hottest days of summer, the ice was used to cool off, chill fruits, and preserve food. This practice of harvesting ice in winter for summer use has a long history. According to historical records, we have been doing this ever since 3,000 years ago. Besides ice harvesting and transportation, the video in the center of the frame presents a variety of winter activities. Yes, we can see people ice skating alone, riding ice carts, playing games on the ice, and even using it for transportation. It is said that one could ride an ice cart all the way from the central part of Beijing to the rural area in Tongxian County. And there were also routes along Beijing's surrounding moats, something like ice transportation. Ice transportation sounds fascinating, but what was this called? It was called bingxi, or ice frog licking, and its history also dates back to ancient times. It existed as early as the Sui and Tang dynasties. Furthermore, historical records of the Song dynasty explicitly mention that emperors of the Song dynasty watched people play on the ice. By the Ming dynasty, bingxi had become very popular in Beijing. Especially during the Qing dynasty, as we know, people from the northeast part of China led to the transformation of using this as an official organized bingxi weapon. And as you can see, we have ice skates here. These are considered quite advanced. Usually, iron wires or similar materials were tied to the soles of shoes. In fact, this kind of bingxi is equivalent to the ice skating we do today at ice rinks. When we were young, places like Beihai Lake and Baiyi Lake were very popular for ice skating. But in recent years, winters have been relatively warmer, so outdoor ice skating has become less common. However, with technological development, indoor ice skating and skiing facilities are now thriving. So, from ancient times to the present, what was called bingxi in the past is now known as ice skating, a tradition that has been continuously passed on and innovated. Indeed, aside from what ancient people did for entertainment in winter, another thing I'm particularly interested in is that today is the start of winter. As the weather gets colder after this solar term, what did ancient people use for heating? Because heating was a major issue. We mentioned gathering around the fire, which indicates that we have a bronze brazier here. And family members would burn charcoal in it, and it could also be used for cooking. There were various tools for burning charcoal. Initially, there were clay basins and portrait basins, and later bronze and iron basins. Ordinary people usually used bronze or iron basins filled with charcoal for indoor heating. It was a common heating device, which is convenient to move, and you could place it in whichever room you were in. However, this one seems relatively simple. If we look to the left, the items on the display case are more exquisite, compact, and portable. Our heating methods were multi-layered and diverse. After all, a charcoal brazier used indoors as a fire source couldn't provide enough heat to meet our heating needs. Among these 4 exhibits, 3 have hollow holes, and these are hand warmers. So how were they held in the hands for warmth? They required a charcoal to be placed inside. Wait, there's also a lining inside. If you put charcoal directly in, it would be too hot to hold. Additionally, it has holes on top to allow heat to be dissipated. Well, that's amazing. This is the wisdom of the ancients, a handheld warming brazier. So when our feet get cold and the bed is cold too, we also had these 汤婆子, or bed warmers. In fact, modern people still use similar items. They're just like hot water bottles. As you can see, it's flat, so it's easy to step on, right? And it has no hose. It doesn't emit heat or use charcoal. Instead, it is filled with hot water. Yes, the lid is tightly screwed on, making it completely sealed. This type of stove uses charcoal, while the 汤婆子 uses hot water, which is much safer. The contents inside are different. This one is quite compact, perfect for daily home use. You can use it at home or carry it with you when you go out. just like a heating pot nowadays. Now, let's look at the vessel on the left. It's extremely exquisite and magnificent, truly a high-end piece. It consists of two parts. The bottom is a stove where charcoal can be placed and the lid above is hollowed out. When spices are added inside, it can emit fragrance, serving the dual purpose of heating and aromatherapy to purify the air. It's a two-in-one item, providing warmth while releasing a pleasant fragrance. As we all know, ancient Chinese people loved burning incense in their rooms. Indeed, if we look closely at the top of the stove, it features an incredibly intricate design. An elephant lying on top as its knob, carrying a treasure vase on its back. And this combination is particularly traditional, auspicious pattern in China called 太平有象, which means peace and prosperity with elephants. 太平 means peace, and 象, elephant, is a homophone for auspiciousness. The vase symbolizes peace, and the elephant represents auspiciousness and the nation, while the pattern conveys wishes for a peaceful country and a bountiful harvest. In winter, besides heating tool, we naturally need to wear warm clothes. So what kind of warm clothing do people wear? We would wear cotton-padded robes. As we all know, cotton was introduced to China during the Song dynasty, so cotton clothing became available after that. In Beijing, people wore those thick, cotton-padded robes. As you can see, these thick garments kept ancient Chinese people warm. And what else was there? China has a very long-standing culture of respecting the elderly. So in winter, we would make thick shoes and socks for the elderly to keep their feet warm. As you can see in the display, the pair at the back are men's shoes. The smaller pair on the far right are women's shoes, and the ones in the middle are socks with a somewhat home-style design. Gifting shoes and socks to elders in winter is a traditional Chinese virtue that has been passed down from ancient times. And this will reflect that we respect the elder people, showing that we always care about the well-being of them. So we just learned about what ancient people used in winter. Now comes the part everyone is most interested in. Yes, with winter being so cold, what did they eat? In Beijing, there's a tradition. First and foremost, we eat dumplings in winter. Dumplings are always associated with the transition from autumn to winter and also symbolize family reunion. As the saying goes, if you don't eat dumplings in winter, no one will care if your ears freeze off. Dumplings are a food enjoyed in several seasons. It's truly delicious. Another popular winter dish is hot pot, and the most famous type in Beijing is shabu shabu, which is actually one of my favorite foods. Especially when it's freezing cold outside, the whole family will gather around the stove. In Beijing-style hot pot emphasizes using a copper pot with clear broth. For condiments, we mix sesame paste with leek flour sauce and the fermented tofu. Mutton is warm and nourishing, and the clear broth preserves its fresh, delicious flavor. As for side dishes, Chinese cabbage is indispensable. In the past, there were very few other fresh veggies available in winter, so people would stock up on Chinese cabbage for a season. Not only because Chinese cabbage is nutritious, but also carries auspicious meanings. It symbolizes purity and integrity, and its pronunciation is a homophone for health, wealth, and prosperity. Other common side dishes including tofu, vermicelli, and cabbage. These are essential for hot pot. Especially when it's freezing outside and the house is warm and lively, with steam fogging up the windows, it's such a vivid scene as described by Teacher Zhao. It feels like I'm already savoring that hot copper pot. Actually, the copper pot contains clear broth. We usually add some scallions and ginger, and then we blanch the meat first. Yes, we generally blanch the meat first to preserve its original fresh flavor. Besides copper pots and ingredients like mutton, what else do people in northern China eat in winter? There are also some snacks known as the Three Friends of Winter among ordinary people. What are they? They are persimmons, crab apples, and bankong. I've never heard of bankong before. So what does it mean? It actually refers to peanut, not the plump ones, but the relatively shriveled ones with only half a kernel or slightly flat kernels. As you can see in the center of the frame, they are displayed there, along with small red crab apples in the back. crab apples ripen in autumn, and we also freeze them. Didn't we mention ice cellars earlier? The ice transportation we talked about comes in handy here. We freeze crab apples and store them until summer to enjoy after meals. When frozen crab apples are brought indoors, their skins crack slightly, and children love licking them. They are sour and sweet, incredibly delicious, somewhat like ancient ice cream. And their red color symbolizes vitality and prosperity. The colder it is outside, the warmer and more lively it feels inside the home. In the distance, we have the most common one, frozen persimmons, which are particularly beloved by common people. Every household would place a row of large persimmons on their windowsills, Beijing's famous milestone persimmons. When persimmons first ripen, they are so astringent that they make your mouth feel very dry and stuck. But after being frozen all winter, they became as sweet as ice cream. Pour some hot water over them, and then the skin would peel right off. Put them in a ball and eat them with a spoon, bit by bit. One can't help but admire how clever ancient Chinese people were with food. So after listening to Teacher Zhao's explanation, we can also see that these food embody the wisdom of the ancient people. Indeed, the peanuts are not very expensive, so they're relatively cheap. In the past, supplies were relatively scarce, so they made a great snack for children or something for adults to chew on. At home, people would boil them with salt or stir-fry them, and they are a bit like eating chicken feet nowadays. Flavorful but not too greasy, so you don't have to worry about overindulging. Besides, the common people's three friends of winter, I noticed that the wall also introduces the three friends of winter cherished by scholars and literati. So what is the difference? For scholars, the three friends of winter are pine, bamboo, and plum. The Chinese people have a tradition of comparing virtues through objects, using things to symbolize human virtues. Pine, bamboo, and plum are three plants particularly respected by scholars, and each of them would embody a distinctive quality. As you can see in the display cases, the exhibits feature patterns of bamboo poles, bamboo leaves, plum blossoms, and so on. I'm very curious. Scholars use for the four treasures of the study, including writing brush, ink stick, paper, and inkstone for calligraphy. And did they make any changes in winter? You're right, there were changes. Although we had charcoal braziers and hand warmers, the temperature inside the room was still quite low. So what if the ink froze? People would use 暖砚, or warm ink slabs. Look, this inkstone is actually hollow and double-layered, just like pots with the composite base. And you can add hot water inside, so the inkstone isn't icy cold. It maintains a slight warmth, allowing the ink stick to be ground smoothly, and the ink won't coagulate within a certain time. So if the water cools down, you can just replace it with hot water. Here we can see this exquisite four treasures of the study. The double-layer design showcases the perfect integration of particularity and the aesthetics in ancient craftsmanship. Thank you very much, Teacher Zhao, for your detailed explanation. As we walked through the exhibition just now, we learned about how ancient Chinese people played, used tools, and ate during winter. I wonder which part you found most interesting.
Welcome back to our Hype Special. It's Lidong and the beginning of winter, and we are here in the Dongcheng district of Beijing to celebrate this beginning of winter. And we left you with a video about the special history and the culture of this day. And now I'm joined by Nadim, my colleague from CGTN, also Myrna. They're from different areas, definitely not from around. And we are going to, well, let's hope we can demonstrate some different ways of how people celebrate the beginning of winter. Well, celebrate is the right word because after all, winter is a cold season.
I mean, I wouldn't say celebrate.
Yeah.
Not even in China. Like, it's not a celebration more as it is marking an occasion.
Well, certainly this is in celebrated mode.
Yes.
But
so how do you guys prepare for winter?
Actually, the day, we call it Lidong, we created two characters for it, and that word actually has existed for a very, very long time.
Yes.
Actually, a couple thousand years ago, we've already had books recording those two characters, and there are a whole lot of rituals around it, even the son of heaven, the emperor. In the old days, they would lead all the court officials to and perform a ceremony welcoming. I'm not sure welcoming is the right word because it's going to come anyway. So greet the deity of winter.
Of course.
And by gathering everybody around to offer sacrifice and in a special ritual. And on that very day, there's also the humane part to it because it's going to get cold. So the emperor would kind of give away the clothes and the food to the poor so that they can have a better day in the coming winter season.
And if you're in Beijing, you definitely need a lot of thick
Wow,
clothes because winter here
can get
it
particularly
is.
cold.
Yeah.
Because it's quite windy, you know, it's a different kind of cold in Beijing. The wind is very strong, but I think winters in Beijing are the best winters in
Is
the
that
world.
what you think?
I do think so. I
Why
think
is
it's
that?
such a different
Please
vibe.
argue that.
In Beijing, you know, in Beijing specifically, I think when August comes, it marks almost coming to winter, and then everyone goes to the mountains on Xiangshan to enjoy the red leaves because you know autumn is ending and everything. And then there's a specific time where people like to go hiking up there. So I think every year when that comes, you can open on your social media in China and you see most people posting their red or yellow leaves. And I think you're like, oh, it's that season again. And it never gets old. Like you can be here for many years, and every single winter or coming of winter, you can see people posting the red and yellow leaves. And I think that marks, you know, winter is coming. And then of course today we're celebrating Lidong. It's also the day where the central heating starts, which I think is such an exciting thing.
Literally starts today.
It literally starts
in
today.
Beijing.
So, you know, inside the home, you're wearing something so
You do.
Little.
You need to put a lot of clothes
you
on.
don't really need a lot of clothes until you step outside.
And then you step outside, you need the clothes. But walking in the little hutongs of Beijing, the alleys, walking around the parks, it's such a beautiful view. And then in winter, you have people selling specific snacks, which is the grilled sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
You have
and also
the
chestnut.
Chestnuts, yeah. And you also have the hawthorns. These are tanghulus that we talked about, but you also have the hawthorn with the white sugar. So it looks like a snowflake basically coming down. No, they sell it usually with this one, but it's in the bags. But it's less attractive looking, but it tastes really, really good. So I think Beijing winter is a different feeling for
So
anyone.
one of the things, I have to say that I'm not a winter person. Having lived in Beijing for over 10 years now, I still have not gotten used to
He's
how
a summer
cold
guy.
it gets here because it gets pretty icy, as you said. But one thing that I really enjoy, on top of these traditions that when you're walking around the hutongs, you see people selling sweet potatoes or hawthorn. One thing that always catches my attention is sometimes people put fish outside or some meat to cure. And this happens just before winter as a preparation for winter, like laro, for example.
Okay.
I remember very clearly going around, I don't know which year it was, but and taking photos of these it almost looks like laundry, and then they're just outside a house.
Because
and it's just
on a string.
Hung on a string. Yes, hanged on a string. And to me, there is a similarity between that scene and stuff that we have back at home, because we also have like an entire ritual just ahead of winter to start preparing in Lebanon and around the Middle East, as you can attest, Myrna, of just preparing a lot of food as a way to go through winter, because in winter, a lot of the times...
It tends to be long.
It tends to be long, but also you cannot get all the fresh vegetables, at least back in the day, that you need. And so they would have all these preparations. In Arabic, Lebanese, we call it moune. I don't know what you guys... Moune. Basically, it's all these varieties of food that you prepare just ahead of winter so you can have in your pantry, including stuff that are pickled, jammed, cured meats. I don't know if you have any experience with that on the Chinese side, Dean.
Well, on the Chinese side, I think the most want to use the word celebrated again, because I think that's the staple. That's definitely the staple vegetable on Chinese people in northern China. It's a dish which is bai cai.
Bai cai, cabbage.
Yes.
Cabbage. And I have to say that I grew up eating it, and we have a special way to store it, because not necessarily at this very day, but around this season. My parents or my grandparents, they would just go to the market and they purchase a whole load of bai cai, because
Kilograms.
tens
of kilograms.
Well, it had not been the only vegetable we could have a long time ago, but that kind of becomes a tradition that you want to kind of pass this day with something to remember it, and with something to remind you that from now on you should put on more clothes. You should have some dishes that are different from what you had for the whole autumn or for the summer. And the bai cai is definitely the thing. And
so you buy the bai cai.
You buy the bai cai.
And then where do you put the bai cai?
Well, I remember very, very vividly when I was in elementary school. And we have such a huge playground, and because that playground was not just used by my school, and sometimes the canteen staff of my school would lay out all the baicai that bought on a corner of the playground, and even though the temperature could be not as cold as it was as today, but that side of all the baicai in the world, and you're supposed to peel it off to get rid of the hard bit, and it'll eat the kind of the tender, the core. And sometimes we have a pile, a little hill of the peel.
And so all of these cabbages belong just to the school, or
just school, just to school.
What about the cabbage at your place? Where does your grandparents keep it?
Sometimes at the house on the balcony. Although it's a small balcony, but we have a tiny pile of baicai, and that's always a reminder that the winter has come.
And it's such a common sight, I have to say, up to this day, that you'll see a lot of people just packing baicai cabbage outside of their house.
Just imagine everybody from your neighborhood, everybody from the neighborhood is doing that, and they all peel off all the unwanted hard bits of the baicai, and they all throw it away, waiting for people to get them, collect them, and get rid of them. And there's always a gap between that happened. Before that happened, so there was always kind of piles of a baicai leaf, and because I was a very naughty boy then, so I like to climb on it and get myself soaked, and then climb that, and my mom would give me
a mountain of cabbage.
You guys keep saying baicai, baicai. It really reminded me, apparently those two words are something auspicious, because baicai can also have a similar sounding to baicai, which means 100 fortunes.
Yes.
So eating cabbage is in a way auspicious and good fortune.
But also, isn't there like in the north of China like a saying like baicai buru baicai? Where it's like 100 vegetables are not as tasty or
as
not
100
as
fortunes.
Good as 100 fortune.
As a cabbage.
Well, at least the white cabbage is what we can have, but 100 fortunes, well, we'll see.
The more you eat, the more good fortune you'll have.
What about you? I mean,
more cabbage for me?
No, your grandparents are from Beijing.
Yes.
So do you have any memories? I mean, because I'm not from Beijing.
To be honest, the cabbage thing is one thing, but to be honest, this one,
this
is a radish. I feel like, I'm not sure if it's only in Beijing, but like growing up, my grandparents always had radish at home, and they said it's really good for your health, and it's good for your immune system.
The same thing been said here in China.
Really, so I feel like in my household, at least, this was very something
it's one
popular.
Of these winter vegetables, right? Like the cabbage. At least in Beijing or in northern China, you have cabbage.
Turnip was definitely.
You have radish. You have winter melon, donggua.
Yes.
Yeah. So like these are like the hearty vegetables.
I think because they have before, so the harvest is near the end of the autumn, and you can store those vegetables, and also you can make most of them into pickles, so that it can stay relatively fresh throughout the entire season. And I'm not sure this is the I think my memory serves me right.
Green, wasn't it?
There's a reason that it's got kind of a title with the colorful strings because you dig it out from, and we used to believe, my Chinese people used to believe that sometimes you got a spread of itself, and if you don't kind of tie it around with the strings, it might run away from you.
Reminds me of a childhood story called The Enormous Turnip.
I remember.
Actually,
Did you read that story when you were younger?
It's pulling.
Yeah, I remember that we left an audience with a puzzle to solve.
Yes, because when you mentioned pickling, it dawned on me that we still have the unfinished puzzle of this. Oh, we can see it from your angle.
Interesting creation.
Interesting dehydrated fruit, which. Are we gonna?
Is it actually a fruit or vegetable?
No, it's a fruit.
It's a fruit. Okay.
I'm 100% it's a fruit. So do we know what it is?
What is ancestor? Right? What is ancestor? Yes.
Did you leave it in the comments below? What do you call it in your country? If you have something similar.
Do we want to give away some clues?
No. Well, I mean, we have to give them the answer because how longer will the audience need to wait?
But we're going to give them a before and after shot of what it looks like.
So this is the after. Wait, let me see. Okay, this is the after and the before.
There we go.
Yeah, put them together.
Here we go.
Before and after.
This is the before. This is the before, and this is the after. And this is very quintessential Chinese fruit in autumn. You know how like in other countries they have the pumpkin as the poster fruit
for Halloween and stuff.
For autumn. For us here in China, it is the persimmon. You'll find it fresh. You'll find it dehydrated like this, very sweet. All the sweetness of this fruit is just condensed into this dehydrated one, and they're very, very delicious, extremely
and
delicious.
They're very sweet. I think actually, if you walk along a Beijing hutong, and the chances that you will see it nearly around every corner you turn.
Yeah,
it's very popular, very sweet. I remember I climbed on a specimen tree. Well, came back empty-handed. I will not reveal any detail about that because it's a tragic story. Involves the tree and a naughty boy. You'll guess the end of it.
But you know, right now you can also see this on many young girls' bags because this is now turned into a keychain because it has good fortune in it too.
Actually, another way of eating it.
Like not a real fruit though.
No, like a keychain of
yeah.
this one.
And another way eating it is that you put it out during hardcore winter. You put it outside, put it outdoor, and let it freeze.
With the cabbage?
Well, no, so let's leave the cabbage for the moment. Let it freeze until it gets harder and harder, and it gets to the point where it's crispy, and you can simply with a spoon, you can just
eat it.
Yeah, you can eat it directly. All the sweet bit inside it.
I think in Jordan we eat it with a spoon.
Really?
Yeah, you just peel it off and eat it.
It's very juicy.
You don't want to see me eating it.
But you just bite it.
It's feeding time at the zoo. But that reminds me of when you just said that you put it outside to freeze. That reminds me of another thing that they do in Dongbei, which is with the pear. It's a black pear, or is it?
It's just a yeah, it could be the black.
Oh, that one, the really juicy one.
The juicy one.
Oh.
And the round.
Yeah, yeah, and then
you put rock sugar around it, a melted rock sugar around it until it freezes, and you can eat it together.
Or you put it in the freezer. The way
another winter thing in Beijing is pear juice. Pear soup. It's really good for your health, that one too.
Especially for the throat.
Yeah.
And also I think you can ease or maybe you drink the juice of it. You can boil the pear, and also with rock sugar in it.
Yeah, rock sugar and then a few other things.
Yeah, it's believed that they're very good for your throat and also your lung. And I actually need to kind of wipe my saliva off my mouth looking at that one.
The hawthorn.
Yeah, the hawthorn.
It's over here.
I've been staring at it secretly for a long time.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about? The hawthorn, because I see different fillings here.
This is fun.
I like the one that is pretty much regular, like the original flavor, without any additions, because I think what's inside is nuomi, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a sticky rice, right?
Sticky rice, and this one is the original flavor.
Ooh, this one should be, I think it should be red bean or...
Oh, really?
No, is it red bean?
I think it's sesame.
Would you like to try?
It should be a specific paste.
Is there a reason that you keep it so further away from me?
So far away from me. So let him pick one before they melt down.
I will. Like to hold?
Listen, let me smell it. I'm not sure I'm allowed to eat in
I'm sure you are.
But I will definitely.
Tell our audience the flavor.
Well, I think it's a sticky rice.
This is sticky rice.
Okay, I'm going to go against the order I was given and.
Right. And as you do this, I wanted to show, since we've spoken a lot about cabbage.
We haven't shown the cabbage
This is the napa cabbage that is grown in Beijing, and this is what people in north of China. What people in northern China buy.
Where's my face, by the way?
The whole point is to cover your face while you're eating. This is not a mukbang.
Okay.
Yeah, this is part of the cabbage. Normally they're gigantic ones, and they're very versatile in cooking.
Also, look at the different colors in it.
Yeah, this one is a special one. This is grown here in Beijing, and you'll see this very beautiful gradation of colors from the green outside.
Show a bit of Dean, please. Both of them in the picture.
To the yellow,
and
then down to the pink.
I'm sure that the audience would notice some similarities between me and this cabbage.
That you're full of layers?
That the interior color is similar to his clothes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that's the only similarity I'm seeing right now. Unless if you want another similarity that I can't think of.
I've seen lots of bai cai in this color.
With purple, yeah. So this is a very special cabbage, very versatile as well in cooking.
Oh, cabbage cooking, Arab food in Jordan, in our area actually, in Levant, we actually boil it and then put rice and meat in it and then roll it into rolls.
Which isn't that far away from Dongbei bao fan.
Yeah.
What is your favorite dish with cabbage?
With tofu.
Oh.
Yeah, just like stew it.
Oh, well, that's a very northern.
My favorite one is with vinegar.
Vinegar?
Oh, like chow?
Yeah,
okay,
like sauteed with vinegar.
Also with the bit spice?
Yeah.
What is yours? You want to hold this?
I'm not sure you want to touch it after I already did.
No, I'm not going to eat it.
But I would have to say, because this is a special show about winter, about the beginning of winter, and I would say that one of the biggest dishes that is like grown up with is dumpling. One of my favorite flavors in dumpling is with the bai cai.
Yes, yes.
And I know that if you are a a keen follower of CGTN culture shows that you must have already heard of that. All the dumplings, sometimes we boil it for, not just for Spring Festival, we also boil it for the beginning of the winter,
Yes.
because of the shape like an ear.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to get your ear frozen off you, then eat dumplings is the right way. But
Two dumplings over
two
here.
dumplings, yeah,
Wow.
would see you through the whole winter safely. Yeah, and because it's a special baitai, and if you want to find out how this kind of baitai with so different colors to be grown, to be planted, we have a right video for you. And after that, we have a beautiful show involving the beautiful winter culture performance with music,
Exciting.
with the flower, beautiful not flower in winter. So don't go away after the video. Come back as soon as you can.
See you soon.
Hello everyone, I'm a reporter from China Media Group. Today marks the beginning of winter, the 19th solar term in our 24 solar terms. As the saying goes, harvest radishes after forced descent. As today marks the beginning of winter, we came to the field to harvest cabbages together with everyone. Today, under the guidance of Master Liang by our side, netizens will receive first-hand experience of washing cabbages in the field. Master Liang, could you first show us, please? Let me introduce the process of harvesting Chinese cabbage. We first need to control water intake within a week to avoid excessive soil moisture, which could lead to high water content during the harvesting process. Now, we all have arrived at our field plots. So what would happen if the moisture content is too high? First, let's choose the Chinese cabbage we're going to harvest. And after that, we'll crouch down and pull it from the outside inward, then press firmly at a 45-degree angle and then select its rootstock. Strike with force. Look, chop it off, and then after that is done, after putting the knife down, you can then rotate it and remove the rotten leaves. But why should we remove the rotten leaves? Possibly because they are in contact with the soil, which retains moisture, and bacteria may have eroded them. This actually aids in their later storage. Yes, my grandparents used to wash cabbages too. I noticed they usually stew the cabbages upright, but in our field, we don't need to do that. You see, the varieties we have chosen and our cultivation management are slightly more advanced, so there's no need to do so. When external forces are applied to bind it, its explosive liquid will naturally gather together around the core, creating a thermal insulation effect on the vegetable heart. Now that we've removed the external liquid, we then try to make it into a leafy vegetable. Before storing it, it belongs to the category of hairy vegetables, our current state. Let's do it. The filtrate from the outer leaf should be given to it. Remove it. Why pick green leaves? To ensure it doesn't lose excessive moisture. In that case, its moisture content would be equivalent to, perhaps that's the reason cabbage can be stored for so long, because it first removes the other green leaves to direct its nutrients towards the roots. After industrial and agricultural processes to filter it externally, the white spots remain. Its moisture will gradually decrease over time, absorbed by its roots. The moisture promotes long-term storage of the original core inside after returning to the roots, thus extending its storage duration. Yes, as you can see in this state, it can now be stored. It's ready. Can you guide me? I also want to experience it firsthand. Alright, now you can choose which one. This one will do with the thermal cloth. How do we select the cabbage before washing it? Press it firmly with your hand. Basically, the strength of a palm-sized ball diameter is sufficient. As for the tightness of holding the ball, I'll test it myself. It's actually quite good. Now it's indeed quite compact. As you suggested, let's first gather these vegetable leaves together, then tilt them inward at a 45-degree angle toward yourself, and then reach towards its root. This cabbage of mine is still in particularly good condition. I can see that there doesn't seem to be much rotten leaves on it, which indicates the favorable growing conditions it had earlier. Yes, everyone can take a look. I need to do this. So where are we going to find now? Let's go outside, there's a place out there. We usually harvest the cabbages, as I know there is a seed industry base, so it's definitely different from ordinary fields. After harvesting the cabbage, what is the first step we usually take? We need to conduct a data evaluation. Data evaluation for analyzing the Chinese cabbage. The diameter of the ball and its weight are both measured. Weight evaluation, we usually just put it here, right? Let me weigh this one. I just picked myself. How heavy is a typical cabbage? Generally, there are around 2.5 kilograms. Mine is slightly lighter than 2.5 kilograms. In terms of weight, our variety is considered a medium-sized cabbage among other cabbage varieties. Alright, let's get started. Now, open my cabbage too. Could you explain how to interpret the color inside? This isn't about looking at mine first. You picked better than I did. Right, I'll start by removing the excess roots. This is what belongs to the unprocessed vegetables have been removed, and now it's all about pre-cleaned vegetables. Let's take a look. Look at this core, it's multicolored. Yes, so its multicolored stage is just like this. I see purple, yellow, green, and white. Why does each one have such a different color? What is their function? I mean, compared to other common cabbages, the colorless ones indicate differences in their nutritional content, such as the presence of inhibitors. Yes, it probably has a higher content of anthocyanins. The purple and yellow colors are from carotenoids, so it is actually colorful. The most important aspect of our new variety is not that its color is more appealing, but rather that its nutritional value also changes along with the color. It has also increased, right? Yes, because I noticed that today in our area there are still varieties. Such a vast expanse of fertile land, one could say. Apart from the colorful Chinese cabbage, there should be many other varieties as well. We are now accompanied by the long-awaited teacher Zhao, and together we'll proceed with the introduction. Could you please greet our viewers from CGTN? Hello everyone, I'm from the Agriculture and Rural Affairs Bureau of the Fengtai District. Here, let me get this microphone for you so that you can speak more clearly. How many varieties of cabbage do we currently have in the field? Our national variety demonstration base boasts over 15 types of cabbage, and we have collected specimens from the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region as well as across the country. This distinctive high-quality variety is cultivated, grown, and displayed here. Yes, the first one we showcased is the colorful Chinese cabbage, freshly picked from the field. When we cut open this colorful Chinese cabbage, it looks like a flower, with several more colors than traditional cabbage. As teacher Liang mentioned earlier, it's our anthocyanin. It contains high levels of carotenoids and lutein, possesses antioxidant properties and benefits vision. Essentially, it's a functional cabbage with a crisp and refreshing texture, normally and naturally offering a slightly sweet taste. It is an excellent variety for fresh consumption. It's actually a fruit-type Chinese cabbage. Yes, because I've also been researching some information myself to prepare. I know the cabbage must be the newest variety, probably planted just last year, right? Yes, last year was our first year of small-scale cultivation trail planting. And then, this variety is also well-suited for cultivation in the Beijing area. So today we conducted a larger-scale trail planting across the region. From what I can see, this entire area is filled with colorful Chinese cabbage. So when I go ahead, I can see that the cabbage is quite different. It is entirely purple. This variety is called Purple Treasure No. 5. It's from the Republic of Korea, and we also noted that the company collaborated in breeding and then introduced this variety. We can observe that the entire plant from leaves to stems is purple with an exceptionally high anthocyanin content. Just like our colorful and vibrant purple cabbage, its purple hue comes from the anthocyanin content. Moreover, its leaves are very thin. What kind of cabbage is this? It's a local specialty from Beijing. This distinctive variety is called walnut wrinkle Chinese cabbage, as the wrinkles on its leaves resemble walnut shells. It is an Beijing variety with a very long age, and the dish Qianlong Chinese cabbage, commonly served in restaurants here, typically uses this type of cabbage. It becomes exceptionally crisp and sweet, and this has also been achieved in recent years. All right, let's walk a bit further. We now have seen all three varieties, and this particular one allows us to observe it in its entirety. This specific volume is relatively large and its yield is very high. It is currently the most common variety on the market because of its high productivity. The good thing is, it also seems slightly larger than the cabbage that we saw before. This is a unique variety from Tianjin, commonly known as Qingma-ye. The shape of this cabbage is long and straight, with a tall and upright stalk. It is a product of our collaboration with the company in Tianjin region, cultivated here in our area. It is actually a fine variety in the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region. All right, let's move forward a bit further. Since today marks the beginning of winter, we are aware of dietary habits during this time. We must have cabbage, especially in the northern part of China. So I wanted to share what I just harvested from the field myself. Colorful Chinese cabbage, then take it to the kitchen. I want to see what kind of delicious dish can be made with such a highly nutritious variety. Is it okay? Now, let's proceed to the next location. Alright, I'm now holding this colorful Chinese cabbage in my hand and have arrived at our current dining area. Chef Wang has been waiting here for quite some time. Let's see how Chef Wang transforms this colorful cabbage in my hand into something extraordinary with his culinary skills. Hello, Mr. Wang. Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself to the viewers of CGTN. Hello, everyone. Today marks the solar term of the start of winter. The beginning of winter mostly falls around November the 3rd, so in northern regions like Beijing, this day marks the start of the time of harvesting cabbage or pulling up cabbage. Especially for us Beijingers, there is a tradition of eating Chinese cabbage, which is why we have the practice of storing winter cabbage. Chinese cabbage can be prepared in various ways, with more traditional methods including dishes like vinegar-glazed cabbage. Also, we're preparing fillings for dumplings and steamed buns. And that's the reason why I didn't go to the field with you earlier, because I was already getting things ready. I can see that you prepared a lot of ingredients, but the main one is still cabbage. Exactly. Today you will first show us what kind of dish the cabbage can produce. Because it's the beginning of winter, the weather is dry and windy. We're here to nurse lungs, right? To cleanse our lungs, we'll use the colorful Chinese cabbage that you mentioned earlier and pair it with our northern winter staple fruit, the pear. In terms of color adjustment, let's add this. What do we call it? The Beijing jelly, right? From a nutritional and color perspective. Everything is harmonious, so let's just get it done right away. In that case, see how we rub this pear in here. This also remains the traditional dietary rule of keeping raw and cooked food separately. Let's make a slight adjustment to this pear and the cake. It also meets our requirements for side dishes, matching shredded ingredients with shredded ones. A slice of fat, and it also adds to the principles of dietary pairing. Look at its color. Isn't it quite harmonious? A combination of red and white, yes, and it carries a distinct northern Beijing characteristic. Our cuisine emphasizes being delicious, visually appealing, and enjoyable. Right, exactly. I'll start from here, take it out. Right, just slice it directly into shreds using a knife to cut the core into shreds. The core is the crispiest and sweetest part, indeed. The crispiest and sweetest, no doubt, and it also has a visually appealing color. You can see it contains chlorophyll and riboflavin, and the cabbage itself is rich in dietary fiber. Water content, right? Just these few very essential nutrients. Look, this one isn't very yellow, but here's the riboflavin. This is chlorophyll, and what? Anthocyanin. So we won't waste a single part of the cabbage. We have used all of it. Let's cut this into fine shreds. This is colorful indeed. Exactly, the colorful Chinese cabbage. This should also be a new variety we trial planted last year. Here's a new pasture this year, and we'll soon taste it how it fares. Aside from its color, the most important thing is whether its taste can be accepted by the market. Look at how beautifully our researchers have crafted it. Plus, my smart agriculture has its merits. Recently, everyone has been admiring the autumn scenery, and the color of cabbage somewhat resembles that of okra. Enjoying autumn and the falling autumn leaves, right? In fact, dining at our table is also an appreciation of autumn. And we can also look at it from the perspective of color. It is also quite pleasing to the eye, especially now that winter has arrived and everything has withered away, but we feel that the little dish that you cooked is quite pleasing to the eye in our room, and being pleasing to the eye for everyone. It looks appetizing, right? There is salt, sugar, and we'll add a bit of rice vinegar or just lemon juice will be fine. Exactly, we can do it ourselves at home. And Mr. Cheng, can you give it a quick mix here? I'll take the next one, because to make the most of the Chinese cabbage, we ensure every part is utilized. Look at this. While you were outside harvesting cabbage earlier, I just treated this cabbage as a whole cabbage. Aren't we categorizing by using different cuts? I've already prepared this Chinese cabbage. Done. Mix it well and give it a few more stirs. Put it into this tray and pile it up into a pointy shape, slowly. After that, I'll now trim this cabbage. Remove its old part. You just scald it with water, and I scalded it to remove the tough fibers, and some moisture was taken out, making the cabbage more pliable. I'm using it as a wrapper. It will look especially nice in a moment, shaped like a pomegranate. So what was the name of the dish that you just made? Pass me the chopsticks. Take a look at this. This dish looks quite appealing with its vibrant color, and it seems to be perfectly done. It is a great home-style cold dish for autumn and winter, and its purpose is to delight the eyes and feed the appetite. And it also supplements dietary fiber from vegetables. So what is this dish called? It's called pear and hawthorn cake with colorful cabbage. This cabbage was just picked by me from the field, picked and brought back. It will be very crispy and quite juicy, I have to say. It is very fresh indeed. Let me take another bite of this pear. Also, teacher, while he's eating, let me add that actually you see this thing, especially for us, eating hot pot in winter is good for consuming more meat. Animal-based ingredients are quite rich, so they can be paired with vegetables. What can it do? It can help better digest and enhance the flavor, right? More importantly, it's very simple to make. It has a common nickname for cabbage called 100 Fortunes. In reality, if our viewers from CGTN, if you want to learn, if you want to use this kind of cabbage, it can bring good generations of blessings, auspicious and prosperous names. So, to save time and make it clear for everyone, I'll demonstrate a good deed. You're demonstrating it live for us. Look at the marks left on the blanched colorful cabbage. Now, we're using a ladle to scoop the already prepared filling. And now we can see that one of our viewers asked what kind of filling it is. It is rice steamed with feng pai's rich rice. The meat is of its Beijing fatty chicken and black pork, using carrots and black fungus for the seasoning. So it is a filling made with salt, white pepper, sugar, scallion oil. You could say this flavor profile is particularly light and refreshing, because it glides smoothly upon entering the mouth, so we gather it together, and we have the assistant to take this. Tie it with the grass. Yes, this is what we use to wrap it. Can we use the horsely grass for wrapping the zongzi, right? You can take note of it, and it can indeed be used. However, it's not the horsely grass, but an excellent wrapping material we use for food packaging. Exactly, but we don't eat it. We just fix it up and decorate it to make it look nice. And this gives us a sense of moving forward, right? Yes, it looks very nice this way. In that case, there's another benefit to this dish. What is it? The modern dining etiquette emphasizes the practice of individual portioning, right? Each person gets their own plate to ensure clean plates. Now, we'll put it into the steamer for steaming. I'm about to hand over back to the studio, but I'm very curious about one thing. I'd like to ask my colleague Ziying about, apart from us northerners eating cabbage during the start of winter season, what other dietary supplements are included? Since we often talk about winter nourishment and cold storage, what other ingredients are particularly favored by Chinese people? Now, back to the studio. Please ask my colleague to help me with this question.
Welcome back to CGTN special hype, the winter special, beginning of winter special. Actually, today is Lidong, and we are at a Jingyuan Academy, a special culture venue dedicated to the study and the transmission of traditional Chinese culture. Now, today is Lidong, the 19th solar term on Chinese lunar calendar, and it has a whole range of culture activities to celebrate this day. And the reason that I need to lower my voice is because now I'm in a live show, and what about to happen behind me is a performance of China's guqin. It is the Chinese cedar. It's a wonderful music instrument. It's very, very special. It's one of the most celebrated ancient music instrument that has actually 3,000 years history. And to be with the performance, we also have a special demonstration of the art of flower arrangement. So for the next 5 minutes, I will position my microphone in front of this beautiful, amazing instrument, and you can enjoy the music in the meantime, along with this deep, resonating sound. Enjoy the beautiful sight of flower arrangement. Here you go.
right? I hope you guys enjoyed that performance. Wasn't it
really
super,
nice.
super nice? So the first thing we covered today in this room is actually the guqin. If you can come with me and take a closer look at this beautiful instrument. Nadim, have you ever seen this instrument before?
Only in pictures I have.
Only in pictures.
But I've never been to a performance, so it's quite nice to be able to hear it. And it has such a soothing quality to it.
Very winter vibes, you know?
Like
So
when
it's
you're
really
just,
nice.
Like, slowing down and resting, yeah.
So we're beginning our winter today with a beautiful musical song today. So we have a representative with us. She'll answer a few questions. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and let us know. First, we would love to ask you, 老师能不能跟我们的观众打一个招呼？
好，大家好。
Welcome. So she's going to be telling us a bit more about the instrument today. So let's ask her perhaps what this song was that she
Yes,
performed,
yeah.
right? 那老师能不能给我们介绍一下刚刚弹的这个曲子是什么曲子？
刚江美老师弹的这首曲子叫《平沙落雁》，是中国古琴的10大名曲，是古琴中的不朽作品。它是借鸿鹄之远志，抒逸士之情怀。描绘的呢是天高气爽，然后水江合一，然后大雁在空际盘旋顾盼，然后鸣叫着落在平沙上的景象。就是文人借鸿鹄抒那个超然脱俗、宁静致远的心情。总之呢，这首曲子是一首有故事、有画面、有灵魂的音乐作品，是中国文人通往传统文化精神窗口，一项优美的窗口。谢谢。
How beautiful. So she explained to us this beautiful melody that was played is actually one of the traditional songs for guqin here in China. She gave us a lot about the details. Hopefully you guys can also hear it when you replay our live stream again to get to know more. But basically what she explained is that this specific song is a way to open up a window into the culture for people of this generation to, you know, understand in the previous world how the artists back then used to understand art, how they used to understand nature, how they used to understand the beauty of making harmony of nature, culture, music. So I think it's such a beautiful performance.
And I really want to, before you continue, I really want to add something that one of our audiences on WeChat actually did guess the name of this piece, right? I didn't even know, but I just saw it in online. And yeah, it's basically like something along the line of like the wild goose falling on a lower level sand. Yeah, whoever guessed it, you guys are very cultured.
Well done, and maybe that means in the future we can have even more guqin performances since our audience love it. 那么我们在冬天，今天立冬弹这首曲子的原因是什么？它有没有其他的意思？
在冬天，这个刚好是秋冬交际的这个季节，这个象征的是从秋冬燕子冬天的时候要飞到南方的时候，就表达这种燕子飞往南方过冬的这种景象，刚好这首曲子就是借立冬这个之际呢表达出来。
Oh, basically about the travel. How nice is that? The music here can show us basically a preview. You're listening to it, but you can imagine the views of seasonal changes.
And I think it's really nice that it's the younger generation right now. I mean, because the performers herself, she's a young lady. So it's really interesting to see that a lot of younger generation here in China are still attached to this traditional form of art, either by playing it or by just exposing themselves to them, just like one of our WeChat audience who
So
guessed
nice.
that. Yeah.
Well done. I don't want to actually just talk about guqin right now, about our teacher, but if you guys can highlight the beautiful dress, the buttons, and the earring that she has on, as well as her headpiece, look at the beautiful traditions of it. I think that's lots of the younger Chinese generation are also loving the traditional attire. So I think that's really nice. If you look at the earring, and then if you look at my earring, isn't it a bit similar? So that's really beautiful. Now we will continue to the other segment. Nadim, if you can go lead our audience over there first. 谢谢老师.
So yes, there was a lot of things happening here. We had the performance, the guqin performance, but at the same time, we also had a flower arrangement performance happening here, which is another way that, because Dean had already said while we were sitting there that the Lidong is not just about eating food, but it's also about marking it with a lot of cultural activities, including listening to music, but also at the same time, something similar to arranging flowers. And
perhaps you can give a better view if we went behind together.
Oh, sure.
So, all right, so you can take. All right, Nadim, why don't you take over this one?
Oh, sure. OK. 哎，你好，老师，我可以问你一些问题吗？可以。我想问你，你可以介绍一下这个是什么东西？
这个在我们中国的话是叫做剑山，对的。然后今天带给大家的也是一个以冬日为主的，然后剑山作品。首先呢，我们用到了就是剑兰，这个剑兰的话，它是主要展示了作品当中的风骨，然后也是代表了我们寓意的话就是冬藏锋芒。然后其次的话，我们也用到了这个火焰蓝，它的话就是比较跳跃，所以说也是寓意了我们这个就是不灭的暖意。所以说这个作品的话，就是愿我们大家在这个冬日的话是冬遇冷，晴遇暖，然后代表我们的一个对生活美好的一个赞赏。对。
Okay, so basically what she was saying, she named a few flower names, which I'm not very familiar with.
Leave it to the audience to guess it again.
I don't even know what these flowers are in English, but basically this entire arrangement is inspired by winter. 这些花是冬天的花吗？
对，有代表冬天的，像这个烟花菊的话，就是代表冬天的。
Okay, so
比较热烈。
So basically, these are flowers chosen because they fit very well with the winter theme, and it sort of gives, the way that she arranged it gives off a little bit of warmth for winter.
She did say something very magical, which is the way she arranged this flower actually is a good wishes for people that, the warmth, hopefully in the weather, we can stay together and stay warm, but it's actually the human connection between us that keeps us warm.
Wow,
so it's the best wishes for this flower arrangement.
And it's really nice.
It's pretty, isn't it?
老师，你用了几种花？
几种花材是吗？
How many kinds?
大概的话是用了5种。
5种。
对。
Okay, so she used 5 different types of flowers. I can
有
see.
一些配叶，然后包括花材。
Okay.
How beautiful, isn't it? Like
It was really
much
nice.
more different than if there's nothing wrong with giving someone roses, but I mean, if you give them this best wishes on the first day of winter.
And it's definitely like it is an art. Like you normally think of flowers like in a pot outside, but it's a true art, traditional art here, and it's one of those arts that the literati or someone who's intellectual back in the days needed to sort of master or at least have some expertise in, similar to
The beautiful music
the
that was
music,
played.
this
Yeah.
or painting, like the beautiful painting behind us. So it's one of these arts that are considered a little bit more sophisticated.
So if you look at the whole design, it's not just the flowers; it's like the whole look of it. It's. I mean, I'd love to receive this on the first day of winter.
Yeah.
And I think it's best wishes to our lovely audience to have a happy, fortunate, auspicious winter coming
we can
along.
ask to Dabao.
Can we not take it? But
this is
it is
also-
given to all our audience
Would you
right
like to
now.
ask any questions?
I'm okay. I would love to once again highlight the fashion.
Let me-
Because if
Yeah.
you look, not that today is about fashion, but winter, everyone gets annoyed when you have to wear big jackets. But when you wear something as beautiful as this one and as the sleeves, if you look,
A lot of intricate details. A lot of
winter
beautiful
in
intricate
Beijing
details.
is fashionable. All right, so thank you so much, 谢谢老师. Can we say 立冬快乐? Is it like happy winter? Can we say it?
I mean,
don't
for
know.
people who enjoy winter,
Happy
they're
winter.
very happy.
No, Nadine,
Not
happy
me,
winter
not
to
me.
you all.
I did want to highlight a few comments and
Please,
questions
yeah.
that people have sent us on different social media platforms. One of our
If you wanna hold it up.
yeah, one of our WeChat followers actually gave the translation to this piece of guqin that we've listened to. Wild geese landing on the sandy shore, which is a lot better than what I had just earlier. So it's called the wild geese landing on the sandy shore, which sounds
We
poetic.
invite you, dear follower, to come and cover or learn this piece with us. I think that'd be such an exciting video to
I
learn
mean, the thing is,
guqin.
like, these type of performances are easily accessible around China, I would say, not just Beijing.
And they're so welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question was from Alan Abid on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, who asked, "Where is this place?" So to recap, we are currently in Beijing, in one of the old districts in Beijing called
Dongcheng
Dongcheng
District.
and
Accessible by subway, by car. If you want the actual feeling of like traditional, how people used to live in Beijing before all the big modern buildings happened, please come to Dongcheng District.
because it still has this traditional, ancient vibe to it. It's very close to the Gugong,
Yes. Oh, sorry.
To the Forbidden Palace. And so if you're into traditional culture, if you're into traditional architecture, like for example the Yuan where we're currently in, which is a very typical quintessential traditional architecture that is famous in northern China, but most in Beijing. It's called Yuan. Basically, it's a courtyard in the middle, and you have 4 different rooms.
We were in the
around
other
it.
room
We were in the other
earlier.
room. This should be the main room of the Yuan, which is normally reserved for.
I don't know if you
the
noticed there, you
elderly.
have someone sitting outside. Dean, what are you doing? Is that Dean?
That is Dean.
All right, dear cameras, come with us. Let's see what our fellow host is doing.
Dean.
Dean.
This is a surprise.
Is it a surprise?
We're sitting with Dean right now. He's enjoying. What flavor is this? What are you doing right now?
I thought that our followers on Facebook has asked about eating dumplings, so I'm eating dumplings.
He's enjoying the dumplings.
I'm pretty sure that it's not made by the baisai we just showed, but
Maybe it is. We
but
left it unaccompanied.
What's the xiar? What's the filling, Dean? Can you bite through half of it so we can show the audience?
Are you sure it's that the blind thing to do?
Yeah. So okay. Well, can you tell us what's the filling?
Well, definitely the baisai is in it, and
Okay.
there's zipper.
Okay.
And don't you dare to think of getting any of it from my
So,
plate.
okay, are you team vinegar or soy sauce?
Vinegar.
When you're,
Me?
well, I mean, now it's blank, but
I'm eating it without anything.
yeah, I know. But if you given the option, what would you?
You sure we want to make it a proper interview with this? I'm strictly
Team
Well,
vinegar.
I
is your
am
audience.
team soy sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
vinegar man. I am.
Oh, so now you
Vinegar.
changed your mind and you wanted to answer.
Yeah, let's keep this short, please.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, with this we come to the conclusion of our live stream. It was a really interesting, for me, journey, understanding a little bit more about traditions related to Lidong, but also I hope it was also eye-opening for our audience who might not know too much about Chinese culture. We enjoyed music, we enjoyed talking about our own memories and experiences with winter in Beijing. Obviously, right now, with the ease of travel to China, people can come, no visa required for a growing number of countries. So why don't you come and check it out for yourself? This was it from us, I guess.
Shorter.
Dean wants to just, get his lunch down. Thank you so.
心情怎么样啊？家里看着。讲完了吗？
没有。
没讲完。你不是说收了吗？
You have the option to just not eat, to just stop. Can you?
Is the
can you
floor
control?
wet?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Are we still on air?
All right, so basically we're ending our live stream today. We're not sure if it caught off yet,
We got
but
a bit interrupted
we're
with
still
our
friends.
And
Means
somebody got his lunch interrupted.
sorry, we interrupted Dean's lunch because we were looking for him.
Yes. So anyway, thank you for watching. This was all from us, me, Dean, and Myrna. You were watching CGTN. We will see you on another live stream. Until then,
Bye. Let's give a big heart to Dean for eating dumplings. Yay!